What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Friday MLB edition of my DFS podcast. The beginning of the weekend, cheers to you guys. We're on a bit of a heater for the MLB. We were definitely due, was slumping for a little bit, but now going for our fourth consecutive main slate sweep with all lineups. Let's try to do it again tonight. In this video, I'm going to talk about some pitchers. I think we get a little cheaper today. Not a lot of great hitting spots, but there are a couple of teams that are catching my eye. Give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos and giveaways. We have 10 games on the main slate tonight. A 4-game early only slate as well, starting at 6:40 Eastern. I'll have that on my Dub Club. All non-main slates, as usual, go on my Dub Club, FanDuel, and DraftKings. I just created a 7-day free trial for my Dub Club today to get more of you guys involved and to give you guys, a nice test run. 7 days seems like a nice sample size. I have the link for that below this video, so sign up today. You get a ton of extra content over there. A 3-game after-hours slate as well will also go on my Dub Club. And then obviously that main slate, all that stuff goes on my, normal website, fd-guru.com. So let's get into the plays today. As usual, I will discuss pitchers. I'll discuss 2 infield value bats and 2 outfield value bats. Like I said, I do think we can go cheap on pitchers today. I think Garrett Crochet, yes, he's been good, but he's still on the White Sox. Doesn't usually get some run support. 11K seems pretty expensive for him. The Red Sox have been hitting the ball as of late. Nick Lodolo, you could go to him, but, it's kind of a higher over-under today. Cincinnati's a hitter's ballpark. I do think the Cubs could hit him. Yamamoto, tough matchup in the Bronx. Obviously has a high upside, but the Yankees, not a great spot for him. I don't really like spending up until we get to Chris Bassett at 8,700. All these pitchers are, obviously the best pitchers in the world, and they can always get strikeouts and stuff. So I try to really look at the matchups because you always get an advantage when you're playing bad teams. Bassett's playing a bad team today in Oakland. He's a pretty big favorite, one of the bigger favorites on this slate tonight. The Blue Jays are minus 170. Should be able to give him some run support. He's been pitching well as of late. I do like Bassett at 8,700. Has looked really good over his last 3 starts. Really 4 out of his last 5 starts. 3 of those 5 starts, he's gotten over 40 fantasy points. He's projected for 33 tonight, which, at sub 9K, looks like one of the best value pitchers on the board tonight. I do like him at 8,700. You could also look at Lance Lynn. Great matchup against the Rockies. He's at home, projected for 32 fantasy points. He's a nice cheap $7,500. So he looks really good as a value play as well. Minus 192 favorite against the Rockies. And unless I'm mistaken, I'm looking at all the spreads and stuff right now. Yeah, minus 192 is the highest favorite on this slate. So Lance Lynn is the pitcher on this slate with the, he's most likely to win over any other pitcher. So 7,500, great spot for him. He went through a pretty bad spell, about 6 starts ago, but now he looks good again. 3 straight starts at 7,500. If he gets 24 plus fantasy points, he's going to end up being one of the better value plays on the board. He's projected for 32, so he looks great. I don't know what I'm doing yet, if he's a cash guy or not, but him and Chris Bassett look really good. And then if you wanted to get really crazy, definitely a risky play, but if you wanted to do like all Dodgers hitters, all Astros hitters, those are my 2 favorite teams on this slate. You could look at Cooper Criswell of the Red Sox. He has a great matchup against the White Sox. Dirt cheap at 6,100. He's been decent as of late, other than getting shelled by the Orioles. But if he gets over 20 fantasy points at 6,100, he'll pan out as a good value play as well. So we can get cheap with pitcher. Again, Bassett and Lance Lynn, they really stand out to me the most. For bats, we can spend up a little bit. Since we're going sub 9K at pitcher, we can spend up on bats. Now, like I said earlier, there's not a lot of great hitting spots. I do think a great sub 3K player here is Paul Goldschmidt against Austin Gomber of the Rockies, righty-lefty matchup. He's been hitting as of late. He's on a 6-game hitting streak, but only 1 hit in those games. Power numbers are down. He went through a 2-game span where he hit 3 homers, and I thought he was going to get going, and now his power is kind of dead again. But he projects out well tonight at sub 3K. I like him in this spot against the Rockies. Again, Cardinals are the highest favorite on tonight's slate. They should be able to put up some runs against Austin Gomber. They're at home. You can save some good money with Goldschmidt at 2,800. And then for the second infield play, the Astros and the Dodgers are my favorite teams tonight. The Dodgers are in the Bronx, so it's a hitter's ballpark. They're facing Cody Petit, who I haven't heard much about, but he's had a good 2 starts for the Yankees so far. He's wearing a Rays hat in his profile picture, so I don't know. Or not a Rays hat. He's wearing a Marlins hat in his profile picture, so I don't know. I haven't seen much of this guy. I'm not going to overreact to 2 starts. He's looked pretty good, but he was in Cleveland and in San Fran. Some good pitcher spots. Tonight's not a good pitcher spot. He's in the Bronx. He's against one of the best hitting teams in the league in the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers get to him tonight. And then I like the Astros. Like I said, those are my 2 favorite teams. The Astros in LA against Griffin Canning, who's been, very up and down, a 4.7 ERA. I do think the Astros are a great team tonight. We have Jose Altuve at 3,500. This is one of the cheaper prices we've seen on Altuve due to his recent skid. He's still batting .287 on the year. He's going to get 5 at-bats in this matchup against Canning, and every time he gets on, he can always steal bases. He's still an elite player. His recent form isn't great, but I'm going to take the status of it being Jose Altuve and favor that with this matchup against Canning. He looks like one of the best plays on the board tonight because the Astros, as I've said, one of the highest team run projected totals on the slate. So Altuve, he's a guy who's, he's usually around 4K, so 3,500 is a good price on him. Then for the outfield, I think these are the 2 best hitting bats on the slate. Shohei Ohtani, 4,300, lefty-righty matchup against Petit. We all know how good Ohtani is. I don't really have to talk much about him. Best hitter in the league, in my opinion. 318 average, 15 homers. Nice matchup here against a no-name in the Bronx. Short porches to right and left field. Ohtani is projected the most fantasy points as a hitter on tonight's slate, so I will be spending up on Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, any other Dodger you can get to looks great. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, the whole 9 yards. If you want to get 4 Dodgers in your lineups, go for it. I like Ohtani the most, and then I like Yordan Alvarez as my last play here. Lefty-righty matchup against Griffin Canning. He's been a little slow out the gates. He's still batting .285. His power numbers, his home runs, his RBIs, they're a little down, but he should get it going. Multi-hit games in 2 out of his last 3. Again, like I said with Altuve, it's a good matchup tonight in LA against Griffin Canning. So we've seen some monstrous games over the last few from him, so maybe he's getting it going. I really like Alvarez at 3,700. As I've said previous days, he's a guy that's usually over 4K, so 3,700 looks good on him. He's projected the second most fantasy points on this slate behind Shohei Ohtani, so I will be starting my outfield tonight in most, if not all, of my lineups with plugging Ohtani and Alvarez in my outfield. That'll do it for this video, guys. Let's have a huge Friday. Let's have a great weekend. Let's continue to run hot in the MLB. Early slate, main slate, after hours slate, you name it. Give this video a like. Until next time, thanks for stopping by, guys. Peace.